What was going on with Sajima in Yakuza 5? Why was his part of the story so weird? So much happened in just 4 chapters with him. Now, before I even get into his part of the game, let me just say, for whatever reason, if you're watching this and you have not finished Yakuza 5, I'm spoiling it. Also, I just want to say this is not an analysis. I just want to take a look at the many wild things that happens to this man in this game. Off the rip, you start the game, you donning with Majima. You know, y'all like Buffalo Wild Wings and y'all watching the game or whatever. So then that's when Sajima drops a big line. And he's just like, hey, yo, I'm going back to jail. And, you know, automatically, we just off to a hot start. We was just in jail with this man in Yakuza 4. We had the whole free Sajima till his backwards movement. That movement has been reversed. He's going back in the pen. So fast forward, and now we back in jail with Sajima. And, you know, you get introduced to, you know, the other characters, you know, his other inmates. His most important one being Baba. But there's also this insane psychopath here. One of the craziest looking characters I've seen in the series. And Sajima was part of the game. So him and Sajima are beefing. Really, it's kind of like a one-sided beef because Sajima can't do anything. Because if he does, his sentence is going to get lengthened. So he essentially becomes a punching bag. Unfortunately, that is until Baba gets caught up into things and he gets framed, and then there's a whole investigation about it. So then you fight Kugihara, the plot progresses. Now you figured out that Kugihara was a plant to keep Sajima in jail and to bait him to lengthen his sentence to keep him in there. But then things get even wilder because the police officer Kosaka, that's like low-key looking over Sajima, he starts helping him more and more and even let him know that Majima's died. So fast forward, prison escape finally happens. Sajima and Baba escape. Kosaka ends up dying. Kugihara ends up getting beaten. And then now we out. We're on a jet ski in the darkness trying to escape for good. Then you play through like a really janky jet skiing portion of the game. This is the only time you play this in the main story. And next thing you know, things go south again. Baba ends up falling off the snowmobile, and then Sajima ends up crashing it. Now we're just stranded in the middle of nowhere in the deepest, darkest of night during a snowstorm. And you wanna know what happens next? A gigantic bear pops up out of nowhere. Now, this is not a normal bear. This is clearly not a normal bear. This is like a tree-sized planet buster bear we're dealing with. And guess what? You gotta box the bear. You fight the bear off. And then Sajima starts to succumb to the cold. He passes out. It's looking like a GG for this man. Flash forward, he got saved by this man in the mountain. And this man likes to hunt the bear. This man's name is Okudero, by the way. I hope I pronounced that right. He becomes your god. And like now you live in like this remote mountain village where everybody's like isolated from society and like they hunt and they live in log cabins. But we not even done yet, because now the game forces you to hunt in the mountains with Sajima. This is a full part of the game. This is an entire gigantic sub story, but they force you to do it in order to progress the plot, or at least like the first couple of missions. We just gonna keep it pushing. Baba is in the cabin. He's getting healed up. Once he gets healed up, once you're done with your missions, and now you got like 13 deer meats and 26 rabbit pelts, you're now allowed to leave. The story progresses even more, and now you're back in a city. Sajima is free, except he still wanted, and like they flash his mugshot on the screen, like on a big screen. You can't miss it if he was walking down the street. So like he not free, like he still gotta hide from the cops like in Yakuza 4. But I mean, you did it once, you can do it again. So now this is where the story starts to become a little bit normal. That is until you get near the end of the chapter, and for story related reasons, you gotta hide, of course, and you gotta choose a disguise. Now, your two options are the Santa Claus costume and the not Santa Claus costume. There's a clear correct choice here. So between these two options, you should pick the Santa Claus costume. Now you're running around with a Santa Sajima in a winter wonderland. Think about that for a second. So, you know, you've become Murder Santa, right? And you're doing your thing. You and Baba, you know, y'all are both investigating the lead, trying to figure out what happened with Majima. Y'all end up splitting up. More investigations happen. And then you meet up with your man's Baba. Plot twist, he's a traitor and an assassin, and he was the one giving Kugihara orders this whole time. But I'm gonna stop right there because things start to get super serious after this. But listen, I understand, skipped a lot of the monotonous parts of his story, but when you just put the main points on a piece of paper, it's just a very wild thing to look at. That's like the main points of Sajima's story. But now we about to talk about what I really like, what I just really wanted to get to and why I wanted to make this video. Cause we need to talk about Sajima's trainer master, Tendo. I don't know if you consider trainer masters canon outside of Komaki. For the purposes of this video, we need to speak on this because you get some crazy techniques. So Tendo, right? He's in the mountain village, and in order to even start training with him, you gotta make an offering to a shrine, and you make like 6 or 7 offerings to the shrine. You make offering, something happens, you fight Tendo, unlock a new ability. The first time you offer the shrine a carrot, you know, everything's cool. You look at Tendo, Tendo look back at you, you look back at Tendo, you chilling, he chilling, you look down at your phone, you look back up, he floating off the ground. How'd he start floating in the air? This is why, this is the method right here. He started floating in the air because he got possessed by Todoroki the mountain god. And now you're fighting Tendo, but like he's now just a possessed old man. He's floating, he's throwing fireballs. He does shadow clone jutsu where he summons snowmen out the ground. His hitbox is really weird, so it just looks like you're punching him in the most inappropriate area possible. And mind you, as you can tell by the gameplay on the screen, I was doing this in the Santa costume, so that just added to this whole experience. You beat him, you come back to the shrine, you offer him a wood carving. Guess what happens? He gets possessed again, because of course he does. Now you're about to fight Ikazuchi. He has the same exact moveset to Todoroki throughout all these battles. It's the same moveset, but it's more moves getting added on each and every time. So yeah, this one can now just straight up summon an avalanche at will. But boom, you beat him, okay? And now you gotta give him some rabbit meat, right? He gets possessed again, now he's Homura. Same moveset the other two, but now he got DPs. So the old man has now turned into a full-on possessed Shoto character. Now you gotta give him some deer meat, and now you're going against, I'm not even going to pronounce that. Now he can turn invisible. Next up, you gotta give him a gold plate. So now you're going against Todoroki again, and his new move this time is that he can teleport. So then you offer the final offering, and this time, it's a pinup magazine. But this time, Sajima presses him. And one thing I just have not mentioned this whole time, because it would have took a while to go over each and every single god and their interaction with Sajima. Each one of these entities have like their own personality. The longer this goes on, Sajima's just like, something just not right here. And now it pretty much seems like this whole thing was fake. How he did it, nobody knows. But then next thing you know, Tendo gets possessed again. But this time it's for real? Kinda? I mean, I don't know how you would fake any of that before, but now he's like really possessed. And he got all the moves from last time. I don't know the story here. I genuinely, even after reviewing this, it's kind of left up in the air once you beat him, whether or not the guy was actually possessed, whether it was just all some magic tricks or not. But anyway, that's how you train with Sajima in this game. So after training with literal mountain gods, you know, you get some broken abilities. The best of the best ones in my opinion are Tiger Roar, which is the Komaki knockback, Herculean Spirit, which makes it so that you just don't have any type of damage animations anymore. If you are in heat mode, you could be getting jumped with this man Sajima and he just won't react. You'll still take damage, but since there's no stagger animation at all, you can just mash. But best of all, it gave Sajima a tiger drop. Oh my fault, the tiger dragon drop. This is like a combination of the Komaki parry and the tiger drop. What essentially happens is, you know, you square up with your opponent, you time your attack with the heavy attack button, and Sajima headbutts the opponent as hard as humanly possible, and next thing you know, the opponent not only took mad damage, but now they're stunned. This may genuinely be the best counter in the series, and you got it by fighting mountain gods. So yeah, I just really needed to really remind the world what's going on with Sajima. So yeah, without including sub stories, because everybody's sub stories is gonna be weird at some point in time, but excluding side stories, just main story and semi-canon training masters, Sajima takes the cake. I can't think of anything in any other games that's come close to this. That's all for me today. I'm gonna go play with Sajima in the Coliseum or something, I don't know.